And numbers are back from last night's action, opening it up in prime time. The quarterbacks, one stud might have worked himself into a top 5 overall pick. We'll get to all of that. There's other headlines going on as free agency approaches. The franchise tag is open, and Will Selva's keeping us on top of everything in the newsroom in Culver City.
Absolutely, and I have my mug right here. Schrags with that huge cup in Indy. That would be his dream, wouldn't it? He'd be doing the backstroke in there and an iced
Scrooge
frappuccino,
McDuck.
wouldn't he? Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That is his dream come true right there. Well, Kay, you'd mentioned it. The window to officially use the franchise tag opening on Thursday, and the Chiefs wasting little time in applying it to defensive lineman Chris Jones, as reported by NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. Now, according to Ian, Jones was one of the top priorities for the Chiefs. KC still wanted to do a long-term deal with him. Jones has the second most sacks by a defensive tackle since entering the NFL in 2016 with 33. He missed 3 games with a groin injury in 2019, but his impact was certainly felt by the defense when he returned. The Redskins want offensive tackle Trent Williams to return to D.C., but according to NFL Network's Mike Garafolo and Ian Rappaport, Williams wants a trade if the new deal with Washington isn't worked out. Williams did not play in 2019 and even declared he wouldn't be a Redskin again, but new head coach Ron Rivera is trying to repair the relationship between Williams and the franchise. The relationship between the Saints and quarterback Drew Brees is fine, thank you very much. However, he's yet to sign a deal. The general manager, Mickey Loomis, says all is well, all is well. Loomis telling Sirius XM NFL Radio their goal would be to sign Brees to a new deal before the start of free agency. Loomis says it's probably not mandatory, but it is a goal. As for another franchise quarterback, there's uncertainty over his future. We're talking about this man right here, Tom Brady, TB12. And according to Rap Sheet, Brady's representation is meeting with the Chargers, Raiders, and Colts this week in Indy. Now, Ian pointing out that the Patriots have yet to reach out to Brady's camp about a new deal, but that is due to the fact the team wants to see what happens with the CBA. Brady, though, is in New England's plans for 2020, this according to Ian as well. So even though he's not there, Brady, certainly his presence is being felt in Indianapolis.
I mean, it's being talked about. Everybody's talking about it as a big domino that has to drop before any quarterback gets drafted anywhere or moves on anywhere in free agency. Appreciate the update, Will. What do you guys think about these reports? You know, the two sides were reported to be meeting, you know, the representation for Tom Brady and the team. It didn't happen, reportedly. So do we really believe that Tom Brady's considering signing somewhere other than New England?
The chase is on.
It's on?
Yes, it is on. I feel like the Patriots are chasing Tom Brady, and rightfully so. I said it a few weeks ago. Tom Brady is in a position where he's basically holding all the power because they don't have a backup plan. There is no succession plan to Tom Brady and figuring out the next man up. So Tom Brady can sit back, take his time, meet with other teams, enjoy his offseason. He can delay this as long as possible and still walk into that facility and be the starter week 1. I still feel in my heart of hearts that Tom Brady is going to be a New England Patriot. I just feel like he's taking this sweet time because he's earned the right to.
He's definitely considering it, and there's some smoke. And I think we're looking at a 20-year marriage in which there's a fight or something, and they decided we're on a break. And you go on a break, you're going to go out and flirt your butt off. Absolutely. You're going to go out to the bar, you're going to look good, you're going to say, gee, are you interested? It feels good to do that, especially if you haven't done it in 20 years. I still think, though, that the husband or wife, whoever it is waiting at home, is the power in this case. There's a lot of people saying and tweeting a lot of stuff. It's a great topic. I mean, the New York newspapers had him going to the Giants. He's not going to the Giants, guys. It's not happening. Dan Wetzel from Yahoo, I thought, wrote an incredible piece. One of the smartest guys in what we do. And his take is that Belichick is still running this thing. Like, Robert Kraft has said, I want him back. Tom has said, I want to be back. Belichick hasn't said squat. And he's kind of doing that Patriots thing that he does with everybody else, where he just sits back and does nothing. Like, I'm doing combine right now. I'm looking at tape. We'll deal with Tom when we deal with Tom. And there's sort of a sense of Belichick, you read between the lines of, like, you want to leave me and you want to leave Josh? You want to go play for the Tennessee Titans and learn a new offense and play for Arthur Smith, Tom? Is that what you want to do? Good luck with that.
Right.
So I still think that Belichick, when the CBA drops, when all this drama drops, will have a sit down with Brady. And I think he's the ultimate closer. There is smoke, but I still think Belichick is running this game. I do.
The question then becomes, to use your metaphor,
Yeah.
why did they take a break? Why, after 20 years of marriage, is it not blissful? Especially, it's not like you had a bad marriage. You won more championships than anyone. You won 6 rings together. You've been the force, the greatest team in the past 20 years in the NFL. Why would you take a break? What's
Kids were
going
terrible
on there?
last year.
Does
Last
it
year.
matter? So does having a baby, does adding things to the family help things and alleviate situations, or is it deeply rooted? It's not like he's a guy who won't get love from anybody else, and it's exciting, and he'll enjoy the free agency period. I think you're saying Belichick's a huge part of this.
Yeah.
I think Kraft is very much the key. Kraft came in and made it so and approved the contract. So, yeah, we're not going to tag you. We're going to leave it so you don't feel sort of hindered by what this contract is. I just feel like he looked so unhappy last year. I talked about it all season long.
Brady did?
Yeah, he just did not seem fulfilled. And when you look at the ending of Peyton Manning's career, what LeBron's done in the NBA, they had some sort of say in the way things go in the organization. And if what you're saying is true, Kyle, and Belichick runs the show up there, and it's his way, and Brady's just number 12, that might be the reason he decides to leave.
It could be. And Kate, to his unhappiness, which I agree with, he's not coming back to throw to Lacoste and a converted linebacker. He was unhappy because there weren't enough players around him. They got a lot of work to do more than just money. You said that from the get-go.
It's just hard because if Kraft can come in and say, no, I want him. I've always wanted him. He's my guy. What are you saying to Bill Belichick, who runs the show? That
And
I'm
he
going to
usually
step
does it with
in?
no interference.
Yeah, then who's more important here? How is that going to work if we're going to break him off with this money? How are you, it's all very complicated.
To Kyle's point, we've seen this before when it comes to players that put on that Patriot uniform and towards the end of their career, they are very cold when it comes to trading guys, releasing guys. We're talking pillars of their organization. I mean, our very own Willie McGinnis ended up with the Browns. Vince Wilfork ended up with the Texans. So we never thought it would come down to the Patriots looking at Tom Brady like just another player. But if Tom Brady's willing to walk away and sort of test the waters, then, of course, the Patriots are going to look at him the same way.
This has happened before, too, and I have a sneaky feeling Peter has thoughts on this. Years ago, Robert Kraft gave Drew Bledsoe the biggest contract ever. He wanted Bledsoe to stay, and Belichick's like, no. We got to go with this guy. And they had that sort of civil war. So we're here again. Peter.
Peter's out in Indianapolis with us this morning. I know you had talked about this on the network yesterday. What's going on?
Yeah, and Kay, you're absolutely right. I don't think Tom Brady was happy last year. I think he was miserable last year. I think a lot of people in that organization were miserable last year. So it leads to this opportunity of roses and bouquets and everyone in the media saying, he's definitely not coming back. I think that what Ian reported last night, and it's actually very important, that there's no new CBA and they don't know how much money they have for a salary cap, actually leads to why the Patriots are like, we know Tom Brady. We know Tom Brady's agents. We don't need to meet with Tom Brady's agents at the combine. Let's just take a breath here and let's figure it out. And if Tom Brady's agent, Don Yee, who arrived in Indianapolis 2 nights ago and is here yesterday, if he wants to take some informal meetings, and it's not tampering, if they want to just talk and say, hey, I've got a lot of clients, let's talk to other teams, that's fine. Kyle made a very interesting comment that I think everyone at home should think about. If Brady was so miserable throwing to new talent and not having all the weapons last year, is Brady going to be Mr. Positive Vibes and happy playing for a team where it's a new offensive coordinator, a new situation, new receivers he's not familiar with? And quite personally, I think their defense was really good last year, a defense that might not have a situation where they only have to score 15 or 16 points. I just think we all need to take a breath here. It's not going to happen in the next day or two. Brady's not going to be swept off his feet. And let's just revisit this thing over the next couple of weeks and see how it plays out. One thing I do know, the Patriots will not have their pants down on this thing. They're not going to be surprised. They're not going to be shocked. Nate, you said the chase is on and the Patriots are going to... That ain't the Patriot way. They will not be chasing Tom Brady. Belichick is not going to put out some red carpet and say, please, Tom, please, Tom. They'll have some backup plan. And if Brady wants to pursue other options, I think they'll be able to adjust or at least try to adjust. But this is not going to be Bill Belichick with a rose trying to say, hey, please, let me please be part of your life. If Brady really wants out and needs to leave, I think then it's okay. That's time. And I think everyone's going to be all right with that, maybe except for Robert Kraft, who I don't think is playing as big a role in these decisions right now.
That a boy, Schrags. You want to respond to the chase being on?
Ah, come on, man. Listen, they don't have a backup plan. I 100% believe that the Patriots behind closed doors are chasing down Tom Brady. Because if they go into this season without Tom Brady, they will be at the bottom of the NFL, and I promise you.
Really? You know what it is? If the Patriots are saying, you want to go play with the Titans, go. Brady's saying, you want to go play with Teddy Bridgewater?
Reporting that Alabama quarterback Tua Tagovailoa had an overall positive physical yesterday at the Combine. The NFL teams will still be relying on his doctors for an update on his dislocated hip. The injury is considered what they're calling a trauma injury rather than a sports injury. Tua still on pace to be cleared by March 9th. Let's welcome in a guy who was up all night covering the Combine. We probably drank this big of a cup of coffee. I had to show this. It's my favorite graphic I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
How
I hope
cool
it's
is
iced
this?
for Peter's sake. That's all he takes.
The napkin.
That's all he'll drink.
Yeah, Monday through Friday. I mean, that was the coolest, one of the coolest things I saw at the Combine, Peter. But tell me about everything you saw, about the performances, and which quarterback might be working his way up.